Welcome to DayZ. There are all kinds of crafting mechanics in DayZ. Knowing them can be the difference between surviving and dying. Today we look at what I consider to be the most important recipes to keep you alive in vanilla DayZ. The most important item when it comes to surviving out there in the world is a knife. You need something sharp that you can craft with. Thankfully, all of these items in front of us here all will allow us to get a bunch of knives, pending their quality. Here, we're going to start with the pipe wrench. If I take the pipe wrench over to a rock, I could gather a small stone. Once I've gathered the small stone, I'm going to put it into my hands, and I'm going to put it to the same rock, and I'm going to be able to craft a stone knife. Although these stone knives have a little bit less durability and they don't last as long as other knives, you can essentially, from one pipe wrench here, you could just keep gathering small stones forever, right? The same thing goes for the hammer will get small stones and the crowbar will get small stones. Now for the sledgehammer and the pickaxe, they're going to gather a large stone. Sorry, let me let you see it there. Boop. Now, large stones have a purpose too when it comes to crafting flagpoles and base fireplaces. But in this case, we want a knife. So we could just look at the large stone with the pickaxe or the sledgehammer in our hand and we could split it. And there, it gave us 3 small stones from that one large stone. Oh, I got too many things on my back. And then we would just do the same thing. Take this over, hit it on the rock. We got another stone knife. We got 3 more stone knives from that one large stone that we just got with the pickaxe. Alongside stones, bones will also do the same thing. If we just hold them in our hand, we could craft a bone knife holding left click. This will use 2 bones. As we see, we have 8 of 10 now. I started with 10 to make the bone knife. But if we take the bones over to a rock, we could craft a bone knife on the rock. And the benefit of this is it will only use 1 bone to make this bone knife. As opposed to when you're using it independently of the rock. I want you to think about it for a second. When you use it independently of the rock, you're taking a bone and rubbing it on another bone. And then you're sharpening it until it's a knife. But if you just take it over the rock, you're just going, yeah. So it only costs 1 when you do it here. A more effective way to use the bones. Well, now we got our knife. We're going to try and get a rope. So there are 2 different ways that we can craft a rope in DayZ. We could get 2 full stacks of rags here. So I have a stack of 6 and a stack of 6. And if I take 1 into my hands or 1 into my inventory here, I'll put it in my inventory, and I drag and combine it, or if I just look at it on the ground, I could craft rope holding left click. Now, you can make rags just by cutting up any clothing that you see, a balaclava, a shirt. There are some clothes that you can't cut up and some that you can. But regardless, there we go. We got a rope. Another way that we can make rope is by finding guts. And I think you guys can imagine how we can find guts, but we're essentially just going to take our knife and we're going to look at the guts and we're going to hold left click to craft rope. Now, we got our rope, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but we got a problem on our hands. Literally speaking, that was a joke that I didn't intend until it came out. We got bloody hands. Now, if you have water nearby, you can always just go over and wash your hands. But another way that we can counter this is by making gloves. So in the same way earlier, if I have a 6 stack of rags here, put them into my hands, I could craft an improvised hand wraps. And you can craft all kinds of different clothing items here. A head wrap, which will go on top, a foot wrapping, face wrapping, torso wrapping, leg wrapping, eye patch, those, and an armband and a gag as well. But really, you don't want any of those. All you really want, sorry, not any of those. You only want 2 of those, the hand wraps and the foot wraps. Sometimes our shoes are going to get badly damaged and then eventually ruined, and we're going to start bleeding all the time. What we can do is craft foot wraps, and boom. Now we have shoes that aren't going to last as long, but will allow us to kind of run around for a bit until we solve our problem and find a new pair of shoes in the world. Alongside this, they are a little bit quieter, but they used to be even more quiet. Oh, the juicy loot is calling to me. We got bloody hands, so we're going to go ahead and make craft hand wrappings here. We're going to make craft hand wrappings. We're going to make hand wrappings. That's how I should have said that. Sorry, guys. The brain's kind of slow right now. Okay, and we put those on, and now I no longer have the effect of bloody hands. I could eat food, I could drink, I could do whatever I want with these hands now because they're covered, even though there's blood underneath. Something that a lot of new players maybe don't understand is even though I have bloody hands, if I cover them with gloves, I no longer have the bloody hands effect. But if my gloves ruin for whatever reason, I'll have bloody hands again. So we got to make sure as soon as we can get an opportunity, we're going to wash them paws. We could also use alcohol tincture, disinfectant spray, or iodine tincture, or a well to wash our hands with. All right, now we got ourselves... All right, so we got our hands covered and we got our rope. Our next step is going to be to get some food. And there's a couple ways that we can go about getting food. We could obviously hunt things. We could find canned food. But the most reliable of all of them, without question, is fishing. There's always an ocean or a lake or a stream somewhere on the map. And we're going to be able to use that. So in order to effectively fish, we're going to take our rope and we're going to go get a long stick. Now, I'm playing on Deer Isle, which is a customly made map, and he intentionally made it so long sticks are quite difficult to find. But on Chernarus, long sticks are all over the place. Bring it on, boy. Bring it on, boy. You will literally find a long stick almost everywhere around you. But we're just going to go over to a bush and gather a long stick. You could also do this with a knife. But when you do it with a knife, your blade is going to wear down. But if you do it with your hands, your gloves will take the damage. And we could always find new gloves. But if blades aren't a problem with you, it's a lot faster to do it with a blade. All right, so once we got our long stick, we're going to drag our rope over onto it and craft improvised fishing rod. And boom, we got ourselves a simple fishing rod here. And now that we got our fishing rod, we need to make ourselves some hooks. So earlier, we had these bones. I'm going to put those into my hand. I'm going to drag my bone knife over onto it, and I'm going to craft an improvised hook. Once we got one hook, we're going to drag it into our inventory here. Alongside this, if you don't have bones, which a lot of you may not, we could just go gather a long stick. And then we could break that stick down so we could split it. We could also drag a knife onto it. Same thing applies, and scroll wheel to split. Once we got these sticks here, we could drag our knife over and craft an improvised hook. So on the short stick, we could drag our knife and craft an improvised hook. Now, this is the least quality hook. It is not good. It doesn't give you a lot of fish, but if you're going to starve to death, and this is your only option, from one stick, we get 2 wooden fishing hooks. Check that out. So now that we got our fishing hooks, we need to drag it onto our fishing rod or put it on the slot here. And then we'll see this new thing pop up, and it's a fishing bait. It's essentially saying this is the inventory for this item, and then this is the inventory for this fishing hook, right? And in order to get bait, all we have to do is take that same knife that we had earlier and go over to some grass and look at the ground, and we could dig up worms. Now, that will give us 1 worm per rotation. So I'm going to give you an idea for how long that takes. Right? 1 worm per rotation. It's not bad, really. But way more effective in doing this are these 3, actually 4 items, because the pickaxe as well. My bad. These 4 items right here. So we got the pickaxe, the farming hoe, the field shovel, and the real shovel. So I'll just show you real quick. We're going to dig up some worms. It's going to take the exact same amount of time, but you're going to get 3 to 4 to 5 times maybe more worms from digging with these items. So we got 3. Is it going to be 3 every time? I got to check now. I got to know. No, that was 4 that time. I was right. Okay. No, that was 3. It's 3 both times. It's 3 both times. Once we get our worms, however we get them with a knife or a shovel, whatever it may be, we need to go to our fishing rod, put it in our hands, and we need to drag the earthworm down onto the hook. When you're fishing, all you're really doing is holding left click until you get a splash. It's really a basic mechanic. I wish they'd make it a little more like, I don't know, you pull left and right, I don't know, something. Or at least let us left click one time. But you just hold left click, wait till a splash happens, then you let go. Now, even though I'm like in the shallows here, I'm not really deep in it, it still counts. You don't really have to be in a realistic fishing position, honestly. Boom, we got ourselves a splash. We let go. Caught ourselves a little mackerel, baby. Once we got our fish, we are going to need to cook it. So in order to cook it, we're just going to have to first prepare the meat, which we're going to take our knife and we're going to combine it with the mackerel. It's very important that we have gloves when we do this, or we're by water so we can wash our hands. We're just going to drag it and gut and prepare. A fishing rod is the most reliable way to go about catching fish. Another way we could do it is with bait traps. These are things that will passively catch you fish, and you won't really have to do anything. So if you got a base nearby, or like Maybe you're going to be hanging around the area. You're coming back through this area. You could set up these little traps and then come back and get your food, your goodies. So essentially, if we take a plastic bottle and we drag a knife over onto it, we could craft a plastic bottle fish trap. Now, once we have the fish trap, we're just going to go into the water and we're going to hold left click. Now, that is going to get us a small fish once we put a bait in there. But even better is if we take netting and metal wire and we drag and drop it and craft a fish trap. This is going to get us a bigger yield of fish. It only takes one netting to do this. So if you have a bunch of metal wire, you can make, honestly, a bunch of these traps. But we go into the water and we hold left click. Boom. Once we got our trap set up, we're going to go over near them and we're going to drag a worm and put it in the slot. We're going to go on about our day and come back in a little bit and we'll get that fish. Now that we caught all these fish, we need a place to put them. So if you have rope, like you had earlier, and you find either a burlap sack or one of these dry water bags, we can hold the rope in our hand and hold left click and craft a backpack for ourselves. I'm going to show you how. You could just craft with these ones and it would just be a rope tied around it. But with this one, there's a second layer to it. So we're going to craft this burlap courier bag. Hold left click. And once we got this backpack, we got 30 slots, which is actually quite a lot for... It used to be less than that. But something we could do to upgrade this even further is go over and get a long stick and break it down into short sticks again. And once we've done that, we're going to go over to our backpack and we're going to hold left click, craft burlap backpack. And this is like the classic DayZ backpack, the most popular one. I think it's in the most pictures of like DayZ thumbnails and stuff like that. For years, it's been the popular backpack. This guy right here. Everyone's seen that. Everyone has seen that. Okay, now that we got our backpack, let's go over and get our mackerel. Boom. 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 And now that we got these mackerel, we're going to gut and prepare them. So in order to do that, we need to take the fish into our hands here and drag the knife over on combine, gut, and prepare. Boom, and now we have 2 little fish fillets. This is also going to make them take up less inventory, as you can see here. So it's important that we do this all the way through. And once we got them all the way done, we're just going to grab them all. And now we need to make a fire. So you can always go into a house and make a fire in one of the fireplaces there. Completely adequate, but this is a crafting video. So I'm not going to show you how to make a fire in there. I'm going to show you how to make a fire out in the wild here. First thing we're going to want to do is gather a long stick. We're going to put that onto our back there. And then we're going to go over to a big tree and we're going to gather bark. Now, dark bark or light bark, it doesn't matter. We're going to gather 2 of them. 2 of them. Not one. My bone knife ruined. No! Thankfully, we know how to make another one. I'm going to grab a small stone here. I'm going to put it on this rock. Boom. Craft stone knife. We going. Right, we're going back up now. It's right here. Doesn't matter. Dark bark. We're going to gather dark bark. We're going to gather 2 of them. So I think I gathered 1 already. I'm going to gather 2 more just because I don't know where that other one went. I'm lazy. There we go. We got 2. And I'm going to gather 1 more long stick because we are going to make a sharpened stick as well. So we're going to do a little Viking funeral for this infected here. We're going to take one of our long sticks and we're going to put it in our hands or with a knife, right? And we're going to split it into short sticks. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to right-click our bark. Right-click. And that's going to split it. And this works for any item. Look at, I got 6 rags here. Split it. Right-click, right-click, right-click. Now I got 1 rag, 1 rag. You can do this with anything. You can do this with ammo, and you can split it up and write the message hi in someone's storage after you steal other stuff. Whatever you like. But we're going to right-click the dark bark, and we're going to drag it over and combine. Now, a lot of new players think they have to make a fireplace. You do not. Scroll wheel down and do hand drill kit. What's up, zombie friend? Boom. Hand drill kit will spawn on the ground. Put that in your inventory. We're going to drag our dark bark onto the ground here. We're going to put the hand drill kit into our hands. And we're going to ignite the bark right on this guy's, possibly the best place for a fire too. Now, quickly after it starts, it's only going to light for a little bit until we put fuel in it. So we're going to drag the short stick into our hands, and we're going to attach it to the fireplace. Left click. Boom. Now we got a fireplace going, but we only have 2 sticks in there. So something that I recommend is maybe get a couple more sticks. If you can gather firewood, cool. Firewood lasts way longer. It's a little bit more effective. But here we go. We're going to split these long sticks into little short sticks, and we're going to use it as fuel in the fire. Now, it's important to note also, you can use 4 different items for kindling. You could use 1 rag. So if I just put 1 rag on the ground, I could light a fire. If I use a bandage, a piece of paper, or the bark, you could use any of those. But now that we got the fire going, we're going to drag the long stick into our hands. We're going to drag the stone knife over and combine. And we're going to sharpen. This is going to allow us to use the long stick as a sort of skewer. Boom, sharpened stick. We're going to drag our fish right over. Boop. Then we're going to look down at the fire. We're going to roast that bad boy. Now, this is way slower than going into a fireplace in a house. The advantage to this is it's freeform, right? You could do this anywhere, and you could hopefully find a location that's a little bit more low profile and cook your food there, as opposed to a house where there's going to be a chimney kind of pluming smoke into the sky. You could do this under a tree, maybe not in the middle of the road where a zombie had recently died, but it is going to be a way that you could cook food without any dependency on buildings or anything like that. And boom, we got our first fish done. And obviously, you could just keep doing this forever with all your fish all the way down the line here, right? But in this case, we're going to move on. Let's go check on our fish traps and see if we caught anything. Ooh, if we didn't catch anything, I'm going to be upset. Let's say you broke your legs. First off, the number one thing that you're not going to want to do is run. Because if you just start running, your screen's going to go vignette like this, and you're going to pass out. Which is very funny, but at the same time, doesn't help you survive longer. So instead of doing that, once we break our legs, boop, what we're going to do is we're going to stand up, and we're going to double tap control. And that is going to allow us to force walk. And now what this does is it doesn't make our character pass out. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to a tree and get short sticks. You're going to want to get 3 short sticks to be exact. So do I got 3? Oh, they're over there. So we double tap control again. Every time you open your inventory, by the way, your double tap of control is going to go away. So watch, it's going to start vignetting again. See? But if I double tap control and I walk, the vignette's going to slowly go away. So here we got 3 sticks. Beep, beep, beep. 3 sticks right here. We're going to drag our rags over and combine, and we're going to craft a splint. Once we craft it, we're just going to put it into our hands. Ooh, it only takes 2 sticks. Oh my goodness, you can see it in the picture. It's only 2 sticks. We're going to put it into our hands, and we're going to hold left click, fix, fracture. And boom, now I got a splint on my leg. I'm going to be able to move around, and I'm not going to pass out. The problem with getting a broken bone is that now your bone density is down, and you're going to be really susceptible to being knocked unconscious again. This one's just a little bonus for anyone who's out there trying to build their first base. If you're looking for metal wire everywhere and you can't find it, you found the pliers, but you just can't find metal wire, you could take those pliers over to barbed wire and craft metal wire out of it. Now, it's important to note, if the barbed wire is badly damaged, so if this is badly damaged and I crafted metal wire, it would ruin. But as long as it's not badly damaged, so even if it's damaged, it'll just go down 1 level and degrade. But look at, we got metal wire. Boom. And the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is an IV start kit and a saline bag. If combined, will allow you to craft an IV saline bag. And this is one of the strongest medical items in the game. It gives you blood back. So let's say you were really low on blood. You got smacked up by a bunch of infected. This would give you blood back. It also gives you water. So here, let me change my stats really quick. Okay, so we're going to hold left click, give infusion to myself. And now watch as the stats start going up. We're going to see them go up here. See, water and blood are going up. And we can see the stats going up in real time here. So just went up 10. Just went up 8 on water. 10 again. Now, it's important to note, 1 saline bag is not going to take you from no blood to full blood, but it's going to get you kind of a giant boost towards your goal of getting your color back on your screen, because no one likes this 1920s noir sort of look that we got going on here. And that's going to be it for the guide, guys. I figured these are sort of the things that we can like step up the ladder of crafting. You know what I mean? Like, well, first we need a knife, then we need this. So I hope it helped you guys. I hope you learned something along the way. I know for a lot of my subscribers now, you guys are like hardened veterans of the game. You guys are killing it out here. So these may not hit with you, but keep in mind that there are a lot of new players that are still struggling with all these different intricacies that DayZ kind of offers. And yeah, I hope it helped you guys. I care about you guys. Be good to each other out there. Or don't.